Hello, my name is Shaun Ezzell, certified clinical consultant hypnotist in the American School of Clinical Hypnosis International and the National Guild of Hypnotists. I'm also certified in hypnosis for pain management, stress management, master NLP practitioner, life coach, and certified in Ericksonian hypnosis. I've been using Unity 3D since 2007 to create game interfaces and relaxation videos, including virtual reality videos for clients to help them with pain and stress relief, cancer relief, back pain relief, motivation, and so much more. I created this 10-step training video to teach you how to create a virtual reality video for your clients using your guided meditation, subliminals, metaphors, and you and/or your client's imagination. There is some cost involved with some of the plugins I use to help save a massive amount of time, and you may need to upgrade your computer, which we'll cover in step 1. So sit back and relax and enjoy this instructional video on how to create a beach in virtual reality for your clients using Unity 3D. Step 1. You need to make sure your computer can run Unity 3D. The minimum requirements state that you just need a CPU that supports the GPU and enough memory and hard drive space to process the video. So I recommend anything with an i5 or i7 processor, at least 8 to 32 gigabytes or more of memory, and a 1 terabyte hard drive. You also need Windows 10 64-bit version or Mac OS High Sierra version. So let's begin. Downloading and installing Unity 3D on your computer. First, you want to go to unity3d.com. Alright, Unity 3D is a free version. They do have a free version, which if you're using this as a training tool or a personal edition, you're fine with. They do have other versions available. Plus is $25 a month for individuals who are serious about learning Unity, and then you got Pro version, $125 a month. But for beginner students and hobbyists, and plus you're going to be exporting this to a video, so I would recommend this for now. Alright, by clicking here you confirm, and I do not make more than 100K in revenue each year, so this is great for learning Unity 3D. Download the installer. And once you've downloaded it, alright, once you download it, you can run it, Unity 3D. Next. Alright, read through the terms of service. Make sure that you're not getting roped into something you don't want. And I accept. Next. Now for what I'm using Unity 3D for, I have an actual license to export in Android and iOS supports. However, you may not need this because we're just doing a video. So I'm just going to leave it checked because I am using it. WebGL support allows you to export Unity 3D projects into a web interface. So you can upload it to a website and it loads through a website. And Facebook, if you use Facebook, they do have a game room where you can export to that platform. And for Mac users, you'll want to select Mac build support. Installation process is similar on a Mac. You just download it, run it, and it'll tell you if your Mac version supports Unity 3D, and the latest version of High Sierra is what I recommend. So with that said, hit next, and then you can have it just download to your downloads folder. It'll delete it after it's done and where you want it installed. If you do have a solid state drive, I do recommend installing to a solid state, which my C drive is a solid state drive, and it just runs much quicker. Next, and to save from having to watch this process run, I'm just going to pause the video, and then we'll be back after the process completes. Okay, now that Unity completed setup, you just click Finish. So after you complete the install, you can create a user ID. So just click over here in the top right corner and it'll come up here. And this is where you'll use to log into Unity and verify your information, that kind of fun stuff. So just enter your email, your username, and full name and password, and create Unity ID. And after that, you can open Unity, which will create a desktop icon, or you can search it in your list here, Unity, and just open that up. Alright, I already have a few projects I've created in my working with Unity here, just on this laptop. I have another computer I use that I do all my projects on, and this laptop I've recently got so I could bring with me to the convention this year, so I didn't have to lug along my full computer set, which is massive in size. So, and I've logged in already. Just enter your login information. Here we're going to create a new project. So just a new, and we're just going to call this whatever you like. I'm just going to call this and here you can start with a 3D, but you have other options that you can do. VR lightweight. I just select 3D here. You can select where your project is stored, and then this is your account here, or company or organization. And this is just analytics. We do not have to send that to Unity, so I'm just going to turn it off. And now we just create project. Here, just allow access. This is just connecting to Unity, so allow access. The purpose of this video is to help you get started in creating a virtual reality interface for your clients. If you can follow along, that would be great. If you're just watching the video and later following along, I recommend watching first. That way you're more familiar with it, and then when you start actually working with it, it'll be like you've done it before. So I definitely recommend watching this first and then following along when you're ready. So Unity is installed. If you did run into any issues with the install process, or it's not opening on your system, it could be that your system is not supported, or it could be that there was just a problem with the install, or you could be out of disk space. You can check to see how much disk space you have by going to your PC and making sure that you have enough space. You could also make sure your computer meets the minimum requirements by right-clicking on the Start button and selecting System. This will let you know if how much memory you have installed, what your version of Windows is, and this will definitely help determine if your computer meets the minimum requirements. And you must have a 64-bit operating system. If you're using a Mac, you can check in the System Tools and the Apple icon in the top left and verify that you have the latest version of Mac, which is High Sierra. So here we are at Unity. Again, I'm using 2018.2.1 F1, and they do provide updates as well. If you go to Unity, and let's say you go down here to the bottom, patch releases, you can click here, and this will show you the recent patches that have been released. And so far, going back I do not see anything for this version of Unity. So these are all old versions of Unity here, and we have the most newest version of Unity. So to the left here is your hierarchy. This is where all the items that appear on this window here on your scene. You can see scene here. Everything on this scene will appear here. So if you select something, you can see the camera and directional light. These are the two default items that appear. And you can use within the scene, mouse over the arrows, and you can actually move it around. You're not going to see anything because there's nothing in the scene. On your mouse, if you hold down the right click in the center, you can drag to look around. Look down, look up. So you can see it's looking up. And it's the same as this button right here is the drag tool. You can drag like this. You can move objects. You can rotate objects around like this. And you can scale objects. So we're just going to go back to drag. If you hold down the right click, you can look up, you can look down. Just get familiar with how you move around within this space. You can use the center mouse scroll to zoom outward and zoom forward. And if you get lost, let's say you're like way over here, you have no idea where you're at, you can double click on an object and it'll take you right to that object. See that? Double click on an object and it takes you to it. Alright, so that's just the basic navigation. The left click is used to either drag and look around. If you're not selected on anything, you can use it to draw a rectangle to highlight things. So these are your little tools here. And this is your sample scene. And down here is your console. So you have a couple tabs. Project, this is everything that's in your folder. So you can see that there's nothing in here. Here's your project. Just empty. There's not really anything in here for you to do. And this is your scene. So you, once we get started, you'll start adding new folders. Every time we install a plugin, a new folder is created. So we're about to start with the process of installing plugins. So what I'm going to ask you to do is go to Assets and go to Import Packages. And we're going to start down the line here. Just import what we need here. We don't really need vehicles unless you want a vehicle in there. We probably don't need these right here. Definitely particle system we want, environment, effects, cross-platform input, and characters and cameras. So we just import all this. This little screen here comes up. You can see what it's going to be imported, and it's going to create a folder called Standard Assets, and it's going to include everything that's in the cameras, cross-platforms, editor, the cross-platform input. So this is all good to go. So import, and depending on your computer, this could take a while or it could be instant. Alright, so we have standard assets now, and you can look through here. Okay, assets, and import package, and we're going to do characters. Characters are your first person character or your third person character. You got a roller ball, third person. All these are not needed because they're already imported. Imported physics, material, Unity. So we just import. Alright, and we can go back through the list. Import packages. It already imported cross-platform, but I just wanted to click and see. Sometimes it'll include fonts there, so. And fonts are helpful for typing messages out within the on objects and that kind of thing. So import that. Effects, and you have different effects: flash reflections, image effects, light cookie, light flares, projectors, prefab. So all this is imported. Import. And all these are just files. They're files used within Unity 3D. They're different shaders or different prefabs. Prefabs is like a group of objects all put together, like a zip file in a way. So you have import packages, environment. This could include some water and some other stuff here. Speed tree, trains, water basic. So all this is imported. Although the Unity water is real good, I always like to use Aquos water plugin, and we're going to also install Gaia. And these plugins are not really required, but being that we're saving time, I'm doing this video in under 3 hours here. So I install these plugins because they're very helpful, and for new beginners, it helps you to quickly get something going rather than struggling with watching a ton of different videos and learning techniques. So I'm just helping out by installing these plugins. And so the initial start of this process, I recommend Gaia and Aquos and Tanaki Sky. That way we can get land, water, and sky set up in a short amount of time. So, alright, particle systems. It's kind of like snowflakes and rain and light effects. So install this. Whatever is not used within the scene is not compiled within your interface. So when you output this to like a executable or a WebGL, it's not really included. This is just all within your project that you can use. So you notice under here, standard assets, a lot more functions here. That's pretty much it for the standard assets. They have this other one here, prototyping, utility. I don't think there's anything. Yeah. So now let's go to the asset store. Again, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, you may have to spend a little bit of extra money to get a few plugins to help us get started. So the first plugin I highly recommend is Gaia. This plugin is $67. It is fantastic in creating your landscape instantly. You can create landscape and terrains by right-clicking and going like 3D objects and terrain, and then you can do your different terrain techniques. But Gaia allows you to, and it comes with several different maps that is so great to have, and you can create your own terrains. We're encrypting the package here for Gaia, and the next thing we're going to do is add Aquos for the water and Tanaki Sky, and there's some other skies that you can use like Sky Master. But I've used the Tanaki for maybe 5 years now, and there's a version of it, the newest version, I seem to have a little bit more difficulties with, because when I export that to VR, it has like multiple suns, and I think it's just a conflict between the newest version. So I always go back to an older version of the Sky, and I'll show you how to do that once you get it. Because you'll get an account, you can log in, and then you'll have the ability to download a previous version of the Sky. And some other things to consider while we're waiting for that is speedtree.com. This is a wonderful product, but also you can find some good trees. By default, the Gaia comes with a palm tree and some other trees that you can use, but you can actually get the program to create your own tree. I'll show you some of the different trees that you can actually add to your scenes. And they have a tree unity. Okay, so I'm just jumping back and forth. I'm not trying to confuse you in any way. I just going while things are downloading, so I'm not wasting any time. So here you go. This is your. This comes with a 3D village with many rocks and fences and little cabins, and it also has your trees. You have different textures here. Then we're going to import all that. And while that's importing, we'll come back over here. So the SpeedTree is a nice program that you can sign up for and download. And I have an account, and I've downloaded the program, and you can go in and create your own trees, or you can download and purchase trees. Yes, they're a little expensive. The trees that come with Gaia is the conifer tree and the palm tree and a broadleaf tree. So you know, depending on what else you want to add, they do have flowers in here. They have different plants, you know, azalea bushes, sunflowers. You can name it, and they probably have it. So if you're interested, they've got maple trees. They got Japanese maple. They have just roses and tulips and whatever you can think of, they have it here. So this is a good place to go to get you some free. They do, if you sign up monthly with them, they do offer a free bundle each month, so you can get free trees. I've purchased probably maybe 4 or 5 different. I have azalea bushes. I have the sunflowers. I have the Japanese maple, and what I can do with those is then edit them, and you can then add flowers to them. You can make your own unique tree. There's just endless amount of possibilities you can do with this this program. And these are just, you know, you just download right into Unity, right into the folder here. That's just some of the scripts were created in an older version of Unity. You may get a message from time to time that asks if you made a backup of your scripts, and you just say yes. Anytime a new version of Unity comes out, it will update the scripts. So I do recommend making backups. And again, your Unity is stored in the public folder. So typically it'll look like this: users public. On Mac, it's in the users public as well. So, and then here you can just take your project, and you can just right-click, copy, and then put it somewhere else as a backup. So that way, if something happens to your project, you have a backup of it. Alright, so we're just waiting for Unity to import Gaia. Alright, so Gaia has been installed. Now we're going to install the water system, Aquos. You just do a search, Aquos Water. And this is $35 here. And I recommend it's real good quality water with reflections, and I got a few videos here that you can look at to see how the water looks. There's all kinds of different things you can do with this. You can create like water flow maps, like river flow and that kind of thing. So we're going to download this. While that's doing that, I'm going to jump back over here. And another thing I'd like to point out is Blender. Blender is a 3D design program. You can create 3D objects to put into your Unity 3D. Actually, download Blender here. I use this to create like 3D fonts and 3D objects that we can put in there. You can do shapes. You can do pretty much anything in Blender. So, all right, Blender setup is finished. And also okay, so Aquos is installed. We have our standard assets installed. Gaia is installed, and the last thing is our sky. So SkyMaster is a pretty good program. I'm going to stick with the Tanaki Sky, if I can find it here. And let's see. Right here. Just don't know how to spell it or pronounce it correctly. Tanako Goo, something like that. I'm going to download this. And we'll go back over here. Okay. Downloads. So here you can download like azalea and sunflowers. I've purchased these, so we'll just go ahead and download them. Right, import the sky. So now that we have our Gaia for our ground, our water, and our sky, we can go ahead and start on this process. Alright, so actually before we import this, I'm going to recommend registering. So you can get a email that will basically have a download link in your licensed software key. And why I recommend this is because, like I said at the beginning, I used the newest Sky system and it did not do as exactly what I was wanting it to do. So for time purposes, I mean, you can still use it, it's just we're going to be exporting out, and I do not want it to have 4 suns while we're exporting. So you'll get a link that'll look something like /download. It'll look like download, like this. It'll redirect you to this page. You'll enter in your email address and the serial number that you received from them, and you can register here. So click the register, and what you do is you put in your order number that you received after your purchase, and once you log in, it'll look like this. So the current release here, I recommend a, let's see here, I was using this version here, and so I recommend downloading that one, which is 114B. This version may work as well, but again, I did most of my testing and most of my VR stuff with this version, and it seems to work in this latest version of Unity as well. So once it downloads, again, if you have any problems, you can just stick with doing the import for time's sake, and you can play around with it and that kind of thing. I'm not going to import this version. I'm just going to download the other version here. So I recommend doing that as well. Just go to this address here and / down this right here, and then you can click on register here, and you can do your dynamic sky, your full name, your email, and then your asset store order number. So when you purchase the Tanaki Sky in your orders, credit card purchases, it will show the order number. So all right. And here's a few other things that we'll download in the next step. So right now I just want to get a few things going here. And the sky should be downloaded, and I'll show you how to open that in here. So I just open this up, and you go in here, and this is actually a Unity package. We can actually extract this. Extract all. And once you extract it, you can actually use Unity to import the package. So go to Assets, Import Package, Custom Package, and we're going to go to our Downloads, and Tanaki, and we're going to import it back. See everything here. Alright, so now we are ready to rock and roll. We have our sky, we have our plugins, our basic stuff that we need. And so let's get started. Right here in your scene, remember you can hold down the right click to look around. See nothing here. And the first thing you want to do is go to Window, Gaia, Show Gaia Manager. This is a nice little tool. You can then drag this tab and put it down here on your bar. So you can have Projects, Console, Animation, Gaia Manager. Now you notice in the console you'll have a few errors, which is normal during install, and Speed Tree needs to be regenerated. We'll cover that in a few minutes. I'll show you where to do that. So Gaia Manager, and we want to do a standard. So we if you drag this, put your mouse just right up at the top there, you can just drag this up and down here. So we want to just create the train and show the stamper. So the first step. Very simple. Look at this. We have something going on here. We zoom out, it just looks like a square. So, and over here to the right, you'll see Texture 2D, Stamp Preview. So go back to your Project tab, and what you want to do is go to your Gaia folder. Right here. And you'll have stamps right here. Remember earlier from Train Party, I was attempting to download a stamp. However, it was not working correctly. So you can see in here we have a few lakes, islands, hills, basin, nothing. So let's say we just grab an island. So we have just these different islands. You can see the white part of the island is what we consider the top, the highest point, and the black part of the image is the lowest part, like sea level. So let's just say we're going to grab this island right here. Now, as you notice, you have to go back and click on the stamper here under the Gaia, and we want to drag this image to here. Boom. And you can use the scroll board, scroll back to see that. You can use the right click to look down, look up, look around. So there's some adjustments you can make on how this looks. So over here, I always like to take off the ground base right here, and then you can change the height. You know, if we wanted to make it more flatter. Like that. You can change your base level here. And you can change the rotation if you want it to move around here. Rotation of it right here, like this. For simplicity, I'm just going to keep it like this. So good. Looks like a good little island. And once you're done, you just click this button down here. It says stamp. Alright, so now we have a stamp. If you click on this Gaia environment and go to the terrain, here's what it looks like. Very easy to do. Just we can go right into the mountain, kind of roll around. Plain, simple. And we have a ground base here. So, next thing we want to do is go back to Gaia Manager and create spawners. Simple spawners that do texture, that does game object spawners, which we really, this puts like some farms and stuff on here, which we don't really need. No. Okay. So we really don't need to create the game object spawners, but you have tree spawner, so you have your broadleaf, and you have your conifer. And we do need to regenerate the materials for these. I don't know why the speed tree, when it imports it, it needs to be regenerated. So you're going to go standard assets, environment, speed tree, broadleaf, and conifer and palm. So we click on this object right here, it has a little arrow on it, and we come over here and we go apply and generate. You can move this part out right here, apply and generate materials. And we'll do the same here, mobile, apply and generate. And we'll go to the conifer, same thing with the arrow, apply and generate. This is just fix the issue with the leaves and that kind of thing. In our palm trees, apply and generate. Alright, so that's just what we need to do with those trees for the time being. Now, we have our land here, we have our spawners. So we're going to do our detail spawner. This paints detail like grass looking, that kind of stuff. And we'll just do spawn. This may take a few seconds to run, or a few minutes, depending on how fast your computer is. Again, the faster your computer, the quicker the process. On my older computer, sometimes it took like about 20 minutes to process. depending on the size of your terrain. You can increase your terrain size at the time of creating the landscape, but again, we're just doing this for our clients, and we're wanting to make it as easy and simple as possible. Alright, if you go in, you can see there's some grass here, a little bit of grass. Now we want to do our texture spawner, and this is where we get our ground, and you can make tweaks to these settings here. Again, I like to just keep everything like it is, make it as simple as possible, but you do have a lot of different different things you can do within the system here. So I'm just going to spawn that. Alright, completely different in it. It's coming along here. And it looks like kind of a rocky beach, and I'll show you how to fix some of this, because we're going to pick a spot where we're going to have our walk down the beach here. So it looks almost like Florida there, doesn't it? So let's say we can pick maybe this spot here, smooth it out. Now if you want to do some trees, you can spawn some trees as well. Just spawn. So added some trees there. Alright, and let's say we go to our terrain under Gaia environment over to the left here, and you have a bunch of different tools. You can raise the terrain, you can paint your terrain, you can smooth the terrain. So let's say I wanted to smooth out this area right here. You remember, right click to look around. You can, you know, kind of smooth this area here. See that? And you have your paint. And let's say we wanted to paint like maybe we wanted to change this to be more of a beach area right here. We can do that. That. You can paint grass. You know, you can paint rock and that kind of stuff. So let's just leave it like this. We can smooth it down a little bit here more. You can change the opacity right here and make it more smoother or less. Brush size, you can adjust your brush size. Alright. You also have flowers and trees within here. Here's your trees. If you wanted to put some more trees, let's say like right up in here. Alright. Now you notice over here it says baking. It keeps on doing some lighting changes. I recommend turning that off for the time being because, well, you really don't need it, but I always go to your window and let's see here. Where was this? Lighting settings, and there's a thing down here, auto generate, and take that off, and it should keep it from changing every time you add stuff because it just keeps on doing that. Alright, now we want to add some water. So we go into our Aquas folder, and you have prefabs, and you can just drag one of these prefabs right on here. Voila. And we got some water. However, it's too small. You need to crank this up. I recommend setting the Y to 1. And setting the scale here, let's do 8, 8. See how long that is. 8, 8. There you go. So we're in an ocean here. You can also adjust the height. You can use this move tool, and you just highlight over the green. The green is just up, left, and right here. Just drag this up right here. And like that. Perfect. Yeah, we can smooth out some more of the beach here if we wanted to. Make it where it's not so tall. And we can move it and actually lower it some as well. Let's say we right here raise, lower, hold shift and click to lower. So we can, if you mess up too, you can hold down Control Z and it will undo. So let's say we drop this down here. Too fast. Like this. And we could paint if we wanted to clear that up here, make this little sand dune here. And then we could smooth this out. And we'll do some more paint. And just showing you what can be done. And the more practice you have, the more skills you'll add to your ability to do this much quicker. I've been doing this for years, but still I have to keep on adjusting and learning more. Everything changes. So there you go, nice little beach scene here. And now comes the fun part. Go to Gaia Manager, and we're going to create our player, wind, and water. Even though we've created our water, we don't need this other water here. As you can see, it put on top of it, so we can just click on the water here and go no water. There you go. Now our player is created, so we go to the player, double click, and here's our little player. We're going to move our player to the beach. So just hold down, click on the arrows here, and move them around. There's not really an easy way to get it down over there, but you can see. So right clicking and dragging around and moving the arrows. If you center click on the you double click on the player here, but you can center click on your scroll to adjust it out of the, sometimes when you're scrolling forward it's like kind of slow, so we're just going to go this way. And what this did was it just put it into the center. So really, let's say I'm going to just play from here. I'm going to put it right here next to the tree here so you can see what it looks like. It'll take you a little bit to get used to dragging stuff around in here and centering it, but once you do, you'll figure it out real quick. And remember, you can double click on an object to go right to the object. You can see how this could be a fun little process here, because you're always, now they do have a thing where you can just move it just like this right here. That makes it taller. This rotates it. This right here just grabs it and adjusts it. So alright, so our player is somewhat on the mountain here. To start off, I'm just going to show you what it looks like here. This is our first time, hit play. Alright, so if you move your mouse around, you can look around. You can even walk. You know, it's kind of dark because we don't have the sun or anything like that, but you can see the beach down there. There is a sun, but it's very small. There's the trees blowing in the wind. So this is our first. Now I'm going to hit escape because it locks the mouse. There's a setting. I'll show you the setting here in a minute. Over here you have a few settings for your player. You have basically the height of the person, the radius. You have different options. Is walking, is created within the script, so you don't need to mess with that. Speed at which you walk, speed at which you run, the jump speed, the gravity multiplier, the mouse look right here, and you can lock cursor. So if you want it to, I always uncheck this lock cursor because it will lock the cursor into the center of the screen. And you just hit escape to get out of it, but it drives me crazy sometimes. So use this is head bob. This is your head's bobbing when you're walking, your jump, step intervals, footstep sounds. I do not like the sound of the footstep, and you can actually come down here and change the volume to like really low. Because I don't like to listen to the footsteps here. And collision detection, constraints, drag, all this fun stuff here that you'll mess with through time. What's cool is like the jump. You can change the jump and actually make it where it jumps from higher. So you can do like a 50. And you can do this like 20 and 10. This is just to help you with getting around faster. Now we're going to click on the arrow next to the player to go to the camera. And the camera, I'm going to change a few settings here. I'm going to change the clipping planes here to maybe 5,000 so I can see further out. And everything else looks okay. We allow HDR. MSAA, sometimes I just uncheck that. It has to do with the graphics rendering, so I don't really use that as much, but you can in your project and just see what the difference is between using that and changing it out. If we just hit play again, so now we have no sound. It's a little bit faster. Hold down shift to really go fast on your keyboard, and if you hit the space bar, I have a jump force of 50, so I can see a little bit what I'm looking at here. So we can go forward, and so if we want to get down to the beach quicker. Yes, I make sound effects as I interact with games. Maybe most of you do. I guess it tends to be from when I was a kid, and I would play video games and just make sound effects with it. But you can see I'm in the water, walking down the beach here. So not bad for the last hour or so of work. And you just click this play button here to stop it. You can pause a game, you can play. You can even shift to game view right here anytime, just to kind of see what it looks like in the interface here. And then you can switch back to scene. And then you get a little window, a preview of the camera, only when you're selected on the camera. There are ways of getting it to where it's always visible, but I really don't mess with it much. So now we're going to add some sky. So we have our player, we have our land, we have our beach, we have our trees, and there's going to be other things that you'll want to do down here. Let's say you want to add some palm trees. Most beaches have palm trees. So we're going to go back to our terrain. We're going to go to our trees here, and we're going to edit trees, add tree. And we're going to select this, and we're going to type in palm. Here you go, palm tree. And add. So now we have some trees. You can select the brush size, how many you want, tree density. You want just a few here and there, and then you can select your height. Right here, you can click on these arrows, adjust the random height here. And then we just paint a few trees. Just a few here and there. Maybe the tide is up a little bit. You just want to put some right here and here. This is good for even if you wanted to just use it as an interface rather than using it as a video. You can add objects in here with the Oculus Rift. Very nice headset. It comes with these touch controllers where you can actually, while you're in VR, pick up objects and throw them, and you can interact with objects around you. So that would be something that would be nice to include within your interface for your clients. Let's say you add some stones on the beach or seashells on the beach, and you can have your clients go and pick up seashells. Some good methods for inductions and delivering different tasks that your clients would do while they're in the VR. Then we got some of this in place, and we are going to go ahead and let's say we remember earlier I had downloaded the azalea bushes, and so I can go into the azalea bushes and see there's a whole bunch of bushes here, and I can copy that into my Unity project right here. I go to my beach assets, and what I'll usually do is I'll create a folder to have my own personal stuff in there, so that way I can save scripts and other things. So we're just going to paste the bushes into this, and also sunflowers. I love sunflowers. Just such an awesome flower, So I'm going to copy the sunflowers in here. And with the tree editing program, I'll show you that at some point when I can. Alright, so once you copy those into your project folder and go back to Unity, it'll start importing all those assets. So then we're getting real close. We're almost into the creating the sky. And the next few steps will be geared at creating maybe animation, also doing an export to a WebGL, and an export to an actual executable file. And in Mac, you can export it to a app file that you can run on your Mac, and then you can just run those by themselves, where you still have interaction. There's also mapping of your game controller, where you can have a game controller set up, and you can map buttons to the jump or the run or the just walking around. So I'll get into those in the next steps. The main goal here is get you where you can export this into a video that you can have uploaded onto YouTube or Vimeo, and you can rent out those videos to your clients. You can add your guided meditation, your subliminals, and other information to it. So it's just about what you want to achieve. And right here, this will be just fixed now. That's just the texture mappings of the bushes and the flowers here. So, and we'll add a few azalea bushes and a few sunflowers here and there. So we're going to go to, once it's imported, we're going to edit trees. And if you don't purchase any of the sunflowers or any of the things for the speed tree, that's fine. We can just stick with what we have here. But again, I like to add as much detail to our interface here to make it look just amazing, you know. So you got different ones like a sunflower desktop and a sunflower desktop cluster. And then you have some of these other ones, but I'm just going to do desktop cluster. The difference in the different versions, desktop and mobile, and is the detail. So like the desktop version may be a little bit higher in detail than the one would be on a mobile. So we could just, you know, maybe that's too many. You hit Control Z to undo, and I'm just going to change this down to maybe a few here. You know, just kind of a few here and there. And you can add some up here, maybe, you know, get it to where it looks pretty good. And then we're going to add some azalea bushes too. So let's do edit tree, and you got different azalea bushes here. Now I'm just going to do just flowers, fine. And you can just add a few azalea bushes here, and here, and here. So we're just kind of making a valley of just different things here. So that's good. Now we're going to add the sky. The next step is creating our sky. So by default, if you did not want to spend any money on the sky system, this is what you get here. They do have sky boxes you can add and other things you can add to it, but what we want to do is go to Gaia Manager, and we want to go to GX, Tanaki's Digital, which I've already imported in Tanaki, and this is where you can add set morning, add Tanaki. And then we're going to set it to, let's say, evening time. Okay, so we've added that. You can then see the new group here, which there's a lot of different settings. Let's say you wanted to adjust it to 2018. Actually, if you wanted to go right into current date, well, it's not 2017, it's 2018. Missing the year here. Then you can set your latitude, longitude as well. There's also a configuration where you can actually set what type of clouds. I like to go to the legacy cloud system on this one here. You can play around with both cloud systems, but I like using the legacy cloud. You can also advance your time. So you can do like a advance your time here, and you can do the hour. So And so far I don't see the sun because it's on the other side. So let's say we want to put the sun maybe setting right here. So we can go down to, let's see, right here. And we can move this around. And you may have to double click out of this. It may have moved it off some, so you can actually move this over here if you wanted to. Move it up and down, like that. Okay, now we're going to go back to our player, just sitting on the mountain here. And we're going to go back, click on your sky, and let me get it to where it's setting. Where's the sun at? Oh, there it is. So we want to go. Let me see the sun for a second. Okay, so just a little bit more over. Okay, perfect. So we're on top of this mountain here. The sun, we can adjust the sun size. We can set the size of the sun a little bit bigger if we wanted to. We can change the mime amount, the sky amount, if we wanted to make it brighter or darker. Light saturation, like that. Light amount, you can adjust that as well. There's one thing I changed on here is under the sky sphere, light effects. Or let me see here. It is the sky. And light world. This flare here, you can actually change the flare of what the sun looks like here. Now in the newer version it's actually in the configuration, but on this older version it's right here. And you can actually set it off if you wanted to. And let's just set it off, because when I'm rendering it, it actually shows the flares. It looks weird. There's also in the settings here, we have our sun, our moon. So you can actually set the size of your moon and light them out here. And you can set your stars, brightness, planet brightness. The auras is pretty cool because you can have some auras in here. And the galaxy rendering brightness. And then your atmosphere. You can enable the fog if you want to use fog distance. And you can have your atmosphere density, your horizon depth. All these you have to play around with. It's going to take you a little bit to just scoop around with these settings, and then if you ever mess up, you can just delete the entire sky right here and then just re-add it from Gaia Manager and GX and just add it again. So here we can add a few clouds. If you wanted some rain, some snow, fog, wind amount, and you can have some wind in there. Even a rainbow. If you wanted to have a rainbow, just add a rainbow into it. Lightning. So let's just see what this looks like so far. Mess up there, but it definitely did not work with the legacy clouds. So I changed that. Notice you see the moon right there. So the sun is setting. And I'm going to go back and change the light layers because I initially deleted the thing here. So light, world, and I'm just going to take the glare off here. And we're going to go back here. And cloud quality. Focus on the sun, the moon, brightness up here. And brightness of the galaxy, hemisphere, fog. You can change like the fog distance here. Weather, and I'll show you another cool trick here. Now, while you're in the game mode, you can actually adjust settings in here. So you see some of the clouds, you see the moon is a little bit bigger there. The sun is setting. And I added some auras there. But you notice that sometimes it looks messed up there. There are some glitches still in this thing, so if you don't want the auras, you can take that out, because this is part of the cloud system for whatever reason. If you come in here to enable your cloud, use legacy, see that's messed up. So there's going to be some playing around with this. For now I'm just going to turn off the auras there, but it's all about just tweaking around until you find the right thing. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You just want to get it to where your clients could enjoy a nice stroll through a beach, nice stroll through down the beach, and interact with nature here. So, and if you just leave it set here, you can actually adjust the time more. Let's say we do 400. Oh, I gotta check the box here. And watch the sun setting into the ocean. And the sky is dark. There's a galaxy. This moon setting here. So, still some stuff to do, but we're making progress. So now we have our planets, we have our sky. So we advance this by 100. We have, let's move our player down to the beach. And the next thing we're going to do is add in, let's say, some birds. An animal. So we're going to go You notice I went underneath the ground here, so you can pull it up. You can always add an object to the player so you can see it better. You know, if you can come in here and go, you know, create 3D object like a sphere, and you can just leave that sphere, just drag it up, and you can then see it in the ground. If you play here, you know, there's a sphere, and this is just so you can see where you're going here. You get stuck on these things, so. Then we have the beach. And that's weird right there. So another strange thing, and that happens because the sun is bigger. If I go into the sky here, I don't know why it does that. Like I said, you can play around with this system, or there's some other systems that you can get, but if you lower the size of the sun, it gets rid of that issue there. If you want it to rain, you can turn the rain. And you can adjust the settings while you're in this, and it won't affect it. Like you can just go through and make all these changes, and if you stop the game and go back into it, it will reset. So if I go back out, then I'll go back into it, we'll just have the rain now. So you can then make your tweaks and adjustments, and then memorize or write down what the settings were, so you can reapply it afterwards. So let's add some animals for you. And you can shrink all this up here so that it doesn't look like there's so much on the screen. And we're going to add some animals. So go back to your asset store. I've purchased some of the fish and some other stuff here. The big environment pack is great to have because it has a lot of rocks and other things that you can extract from it. Woodland creatures and bird flock. So let's add some birds. And this is a good little system to use here. Comes with a butterfly as well. Monarch butterflies. Alright, good to go. Import. Okay. Go to your project, and you can shrink that. You have your bird block. So you can go to scene, and let's say we would want to just add like a nice little birds right here. And I mean, you can do some seagulls if you want to do some seagulls, or you can do some vulture. I don't recommend vultures or crows, but I like the sparrows. Sparrows are nice and friendly little birds. So I'm going to do these different. There's avoidance, there's avoidance 1, there's free round, ultra sync. So you can do like a little ultra sync bird. And right here, And you can adjust the roaming width. So let's say like 50. So kind of like this. You can move it out here. And you can do flock width. Let's say 10. 5. So you can do a lot of little birds flying around, and then you can do like maybe 177 birds, and you can adjust the different settings for each of the birds, how fast, and that kind of thing. So we'll just look and see what that looks like here. So you can see the birds. You shut the oars off there. So pretty good detail for birds. And let's go ahead and shut the oars off here. So like this. Okay. Now we can add some other objects. And again, if budget is something that you're looking at, you don't have to add as much things. I like to add as just, I've probably spent about $400 on a lot of these different things that would help with this design. So we're going to go with, let's say, let's do some fireflies. Import. Okay. And we'll set fireflies here. So we'll go back to the scene. And we'll just add right here. And your player is about right here. So right here's your player. So you can do 100 or 50. Let's do 50. We can look and see what that looks like. You may not see them. There's a few of them. See. Fireflies flying around. Your birds. We're good. Now you can add some other objects. Let's say seashells. We have seashells that we can add, and you can add some fish as well. I've just got this for $5, some seashells that you can drag, put onto the beach. And that's important. There's non-harmful objects and animals and things in the interface, then it's, no one's going to get stressed out. I mean, seashells are seashells. So, and one thing you can do with the seashells is you can go under Gaia Environment, Terrain, and you actually add them as a tree, which is interesting. So you can just go in here and select and do shell, and you can just select different seashells. And then when you're in your scene here, you can just click and paint the seashells into it. You can do random sizes. And I don't know if you won't be able to see them as close up as you can, but you can see them there, see? And if you wanted to place them bigger shells directly on the beach, you can just come right in here and you can select the shell and you can just drag it. Then you can make it bigger. Or you can do it over here. You can just do like 5, 5, 5 for the size. Either way, so you can see we've made a seashell and stuff. So you can drag as many seashells as you want onto the beach. There's these cold, meaning that the camera will only show it when you get close to it. Sometimes I'll just uncheck the load group because I want to be able to see it when I'm walking around here. So, or you adjust it here. See how that's how far before it goes out. It's kind of interesting, but yeah, you can mess with it here and there. So you can put your ship, put it there. So load 2, load 3, all that stuff. So some seashells. You can play around, add as many seashells as you want. Because this video, I'm just wanting to wrap it up as quickly as possible to show you what you can do. It's up to you how much more detail you want to add into it. We can add some butterflies if you want. Let's just do that, because everybody likes butterflies, don't they? So you can have the butterfly free roam, and you can just drag it right here. Again, you can adjust the width. Like that. And all these square boxes are just everywhere, which is fine. And you can do, 127. And you can do 25. Like that. Yeah, let's see what this looks like. There you go. You got some butterflies. Got that. Now you seem like you're small, so if you want to adjust your height for your player, you can come over here to player. You can make them like 5 foot or something like that. So yeah, ready. The sun's setting, birds flying, so good. Now we move on to the next step. And if you want it, if it's too dark, you can enable this directional light, and you see how bright it is right here. You can adjust some of the settings to make it to where it matches the the intensity. So let's say we can do 0.1, 0.25. So you can actually make it even lower, you know. And that just helps it, but while you're working on it, you can see better. So. Alright, now let's go to the next step here. And we have basically the land, the beach. If you wanted to add some waves, you can. I actually had some basic beach waves here for $10, and then I have a script for making the water move up and down. So let me pull that up and I'll show you how to create the script here. Alright, so we'll just import this. Alright, so we're gonna add some waves to the water. We'll go back to our scene. First thing I want to do is apply a script here. So I want to do add component, and you type in script. You don't have to know how to script to do this, but it is helpful to know a little bit. So we'll just call this waves, create and add, and then double click on it. It'll open up in Visual Studio 2017, which came with the Unity 3D when you installed it. And we're just gonna paste. There you go. I don't know why just copying the text did not do what we wanted to do here. So you can see that water's waving up here. Maybe too much. We can reduce it some. Or just leave it like this. It don't matter. Like I said, just make tweaks to it. I can send the file to you or put it out somewhere where it can be downloaded. Put it in the link here so you can download this waves file. Then you just drag it onto your Aquos water right here. Now we've downloaded some actual waves, the beach waves, and all this is just a prefab here. So you got beach waves, large, medium, small, and you can just add it there. Now here's the fun thing, it doesn't show up when you just drag it to it. You have to actually go inside it. So it's kind of a interesting, I don't know why it's like that. It's just the way it is. So I like to just take this and then move it here. So these are the kind of things that I've learned over time and have to deal with. Not everything's perfect, so, but you can add multiple ones. You can add a small one right here, you know, and again you have to go into it. So I'm just going to show you just a few of these. I'm not going to do the whole thing up. Again, the goal was just to get you started and what you can do. with this VR system. So, all right, and we'll play. And may have to make adjustments, but you can see it's kind of like that. So you can flip some around, you can go some backwards, you can like that. And we'll move our player. We can probably up this right here, increase the size of the lanyard so the water's not coming into it too much. So come over here, like that. And let's see what this looks like. Okay. We come down the beach. Got seashells, got some bushes, got some birds, got some butterflies, and nice little mountains in the background. Quiet, very calming. So now we're moving on. We finished adding some details, some waves. And the next thing is animation. Now, in the past, what I was doing was I was taking my player and I was going to this animation tab and creating animation and manually moving it around. Which you can animate anything you want by just creating, and you can add loops and move objects around, that kind of stuff. But I found this plugin here. Yeah, another good plugin to save time. And this one is a very good easy waypoints path system. So I'm going to install this here, only $5. And we import. We're moving into our final steps here. Alright, so once we've installed it, what I've ended up doing is I would add a empty container, and I would call this move player or something like that. Okay, and then this one I would go add component. And I would do let's see here. First, let me locate this. Waypoints. And there's instructions. You can read through the instructions here. I guess you can sit here and open it and it'll tell you what to do here. How to use it. Assign waypoint script to the game object. Create several waypoints using prefab. Assign waypoints to list waypoint holder. So you want to make this your waypoint holder. Alright, and this is where you can clean waypoints and that kind of stuff. And now on your player, you want to add a new script. You want to call this waypoint. Let's see. Waypoint mover. I think waypoints. So once you're selected here, You can, let's see, move waypoint, start from the nearest, ignore position, smooth collision, looping, so you can do once, simple facing, smooth facing. Go back to a player, a mover. Right mouse click disable. So I enable the right click. So I want to click here, and then click here, click here, click here, click here, click here, click here. So you can see where you can drag your mouse. And I'm just right clicking, and it creates these little balls right here. So if you click off of it, you gotta go back and click on it again. It'll take you a little bit to get used to it. So, and again, the object is to create something that will be fun for your clients. And this is for your video. You can still export this out as an actual interactive interface where they can move with a controller and that kind of thing. Alright, so let's see what that looks like. We may have to adjust the height. It may do some weird stuff to begin with, or nothing at all. So we didn't do anything. Oh, I have to select where my waypoint holder is right here. So move player. There you go. Okay, let's see what that does. And you notice it's doing some weird things here. It's because it's conflicting with the script. So this first person script here, you disable that for now, and see if it makes it what it does here. So you can see that it is moving along the track. Maybe a little small. You can adjust the height of each of those rotational balls. And we don't want our client to be going underwater here, so you can actually adjust the water maybe down just slightly, aqueous water, and in the height right here we can do maybe 30 or 32, kind of like this. And you can actually slow down each of the balls, is what I call them. They're actually the waypoint locations. So I'll show you how to do that here. So, okay. You get a waypoint mover. each one of these waypoints has a different type of delay you can have. Angle, call function, new movers, or you can adjust your player height some more. You can maybe do like 8. There's all these different techniques. Like I said, it's up to you to mingle and adjust some of these settings yourself and play around. You know, you may find something that's easier for you that I've not talked about in this video. The more practice you have, the more skills you'll develop, the more you'll be able to develop some amazing, awesome videos for your clients. Okay, so this completes this step here with animation. The next thing I want to do is, let's say I do not want to animate yet. We can actually disable this waypoint mover. And let's say I want to just save first. So from the beginning, I've been doing all this work and I've not showed you how to save. I recommend saving in the very minute you start, because you may have a computer crash, your electricity may go out, who knows. So always save your projects every few minutes that you get. So I'm going to save my scene, which is auto saved, and you can also save it as a different name if you want to save. Alright, now what we want to do is just, we can adjust our waves since we've made adjustments to the beach. You may want to move the waves out further away, you know. So I'll just move it over here like this. We can rotate. Rotation is a little bit if your eyesight is not the best in the world, you may not see these lines. So like you can just grab the line, so you see right here this little green line, and then the red line rotates it vertically, horizontally. So it may just take a little bit to mess around with that here. Okay. Let's export this. I'm going to show you how to export it to the computer first. So we're going to go to File, Build, and you may want to adjust your player settings. So you go to Player Settings. Here you can select a icon for your game. If you import something or an image that you want to use for your icon, you can do that. Else it'll use the default Unity. You can then select your resolution, what type of resolution you want, splash image, image that shows up in the interface. And you have other settings. You can play around with this. If you are exporting to Mac, you can give it a name and play around the configuration. You also have Droid export, iOS, and Droid export functions. Since I have a license to export in iOS and Droid, you may not, and you can just stick with the videos. WebGL is another thing that you can export to, which will allow you to put it onto a website. You also have Facebook export functions. So all these may take a little bit more research into what it is you want to accomplish. So I recommend doing searches on YouTube, or Udemy is another good place to learn how to do game development and that kind of thing. So But I just watch YouTube videos most of the time. Anytime I'm looking to do something, I just go to YouTube and I just type what I'm looking for. And you can give it a company name right here. And what you want to call it. And let's just build it. And here's, you just select what you want. And what it'll do is it'll convert the project to meet that. So you can do like PlayStation, but you have to have a PlayStation developer account, Xbox One, PC, Mac, and Linux, and that kind of stuff. So we just hit build. And you just want to save it. We'll call it, and this is in the root default folder here. You can actually create a folder, just call it and it'll build out here. This process may take a little time to run based on your computer speed again. And this is where you can actually send this file like it is to your client, and depending on how fast their computer is, you know, I've seen it run on very slow laptops and they seem okay. It all depends. Okay, so now see that this is created within this folder. At this point, you can just zip it up, right click, send to a zip file, and then let's see how big this is. 577 megabytes. You can fit on a CD. So we run it, and at this top here would be the graphic that you create for it. You can click. I'm running it in a window because I don't have an exit scene, and then we just hit play. Alright, so not bad for the graphics. You can walk around because I made it extra big, extra tall, a little bit taller. Now you can jump, look around. If I wanted to go all the way on top of the mountain there, it could. So, you know, nice, interesting. It's all done. But we're going to do a video recording. So, we can come back here. This would be, again, I'm not really keeping track of all the steps. The main steps was installing, downloading the plugins, installing plugins, creating the land, creating the water, creating the sky, setting your player up, adding trees, adding bushes and other insects, fireflies, and that kind of thing. There's a few things here and there. We've created a beach interface, controllers. I can show you that real quick. And another good thing to add that I recommend is, if you want to have an interface, is a UI interface. So I go to here. I have a interface right here. Let's see, right here. This interface can be used. There's buttons, different things here. If you want to have like a little interactive menu where you can pick music, you can also add music into the interface or into the game here. I'll show you that real quick. That way, but my main goal is to show you as a video. So This would be a little bit more advanced functionality, which you can do through watching YouTube videos or tutorial videos on adding interfaces. But it's real simple. This takes a little bit of work right here. I'll just tell you here. Okay, let me go back to the scene here, and under the combo pack, you'll see different scenes here. All these different buttons and different things. You have actual skin here. You can add this over here. If you play, there. So you got different buttons. These you can assign. And this is just an example of the buttons. You can remove what you don't want, keep what you want, add in what happens if you click on a button. So, but in this video, again, I am just showing you how to basically do a quick video for your clients. So you don't need that right now. I'm going to go back to player. We're going to go back to waypoints, and we're going to go to and turn off the first person controller here. That way it doesn't mess up when we're walking. And we're going to add a video recorder. So asset store, and this again, there's another plugin I use for recording videos. And that is this VR panorama. Alright, download. This is what creates the VR video that you're going to pull into what I recommend, Power Director. I use Power Director for my video editing. Power Director 16, which has 360 capabilities, and it's only about 50-60 bucks or so from Power Director. And let's get some music here as well. So I'm going to import that. Okay, so this has been imported, I believe. Yep, VR system here. And what I did here is I'm going to download an audio track here. I'm using Tranquility, created by Shaun Ezzell. You can download music from anywhere. I like to use, there's some royalty-free websites that you can go to on healthyvisions.net. I use Ron's audio tracks he has. So let's say stress, and you may have your own audio tracks, but I like this Tranquility right here. I use this in all my audio tracks, and it has subliminals, and it has theta sound, so it's automatically set up and ready to go. Under your camera here, I'm going to do add component, and we're going to do VR capture. So this is going to be, you got to be careful with this, because if you have it play while it's running, it'll just start encoding. So we're gonna, this is where it's gonna save the tracks. You can actually change this to another location, and let's say I'm going to do it to my drive that has more space. So let's say the D drive. So let's call it D drive. You can leave it like it is on your computer if you want to. Save folder, and so the save folder you'll want to create. I don't think it creates it automatically. So I'm just going to call folder VR sequence, just like that. And this is where you want to adjust the size of your VR, because they have several options down here, but these are not really correct dimensions. So what I do is under Pad Director, if you were just to drag like a sample scene and go produce, you can see what dimensions you have here. So the higher, the more space is going to require. So let me see here. You need to change this to a 360, by the way. This drop down box here is 360. And then produce. And then this will give you your dimensions here. So the highest you can go is 40, 96, 20, 48. That may take a long time to run. For the purpose here of the video, I'm just going to do a I may just do that. 40, 96, 20, 48. 40, 96, 20, 48. 40, 96, 20, 48. 40, 96, 20, 48. Okay. So that is going to create that, and we're going to do JPEG image and angle 360. This is fine, and animation capture. Then down here you can adjust other settings here. Disable field tracking, speed versus quality, audio unavailable, mute while rendering, encode. So after it's done processing is when you're going to encode it. So before we run this, we're just going to uncheck that for the time being. Remember, this was off the first player camera right here is where I added this function. And we're just going to hit play just to see what it looks like right now. And again, you're going to make adjustments. You're going to change the animation. You're going to change the direction. You're going to do a lot more things than what I'm showing. I'm just getting you into this system, what to do, how to do it, and then it's up to you if you want to learn more and research YouTube for additional techniques or find other plugins you may want to use. So this is just basically for you to get started. Let me just hit play. Alright, that looks good. I'm going to go ahead and do VR capture strip. I'm going to export this because I'm not going to run it through the player. I'm going to just export it like we did. Okay, I found I needed to add the scene. I had an example scene from the very beginning, and what it was doing, it wasn't updating the changes I had made, so I had to do add open scenes and then select that scene. So it was kind of throwing me off for a loop, and I'm just going to select this folder here and let it run. Hopefully it doesn't crash out. When I run the process through the interface, it just crashes out. So I'm going to see if it crashes during this part. If it does, then I have an issue with the VR recorder, and I may have to contact their support because this is a new Unity build that just came out, and it may not be fully supported under it. So we'll find out right now what happens here. Well, we got one image, and that's it. And it looks like it crashed out. So I have no idea what's happening here, but it's given a it's just crashing the whole system out. So it could be an issue with the project itself. It could be an issue with something else, but I'm going to contact their support and see if maybe they have any ideas. Okay, so after a long night of trying to figure out what happened or why the app was crashing, I contacted the support for the people that created this VR plugin, this VR recording plugin. So he sends me an email back, says there's a bug in Unity 2018.2, but I've made a fix workaround for it, and sent me a link. So here is the link right here. And this was just one of those things where a new version of Unity came out and the plugin wasn't yet supported, or there was a bug in it. So we're going to download this. And I'm going to save this to my desktop or the Unity projects. That way, in the future, I can have this available here. I'll put we'll call this 2018 fix. Alright, now we're just going to go into Unity and see if it fixes our problem. Again, it was kind of I jumped off and played around with it. I even created a test scene with nothing in it but this. And everything I attempted was not working, so I contacted the support, and they do have a forum. So if you go to Asset Store and go here, there is a support forum thread right here. And let's see here. Unity 2018. Well, see, I get in here and here's a bunch of different things right here. Here it is right here. Okay, so just wanted to point that out. And I did contact them directly, visit publisher's website or support email. I clicked on support email and sent him a message, but he said it was in the forum, and so that's great. So we're just going to do after you download the fix, and it may be fixed in the newer version of VR Panorama. It's just if you go to create it and it crashes, know that there is a fix for it. So import package, custom package, and I'm just going to go here and let's do this right here. So this is the VR Panorama, and some fixes here and imports. Okay, then I'm just going to delete this off of here just to make sure we get any new changes. So you can delete off components like this. This little gear over here. Alright. We're going to go back and change our resolution. Again, you can find out by using the power director. I just go in here. 4096 by 2048 is what we're shooting for. So 4096 by 2048. Okay, and we're going to do the custom. We go to the D drive, and everything else looks fine here. Change the frames per second to 30. You can do higher frame rate, like 60 frames or 40 or 50. 30 frames is the typical video speed, so that's fine. And align with horizon, I uncheck that in case I want to add some head movements. And I'll show you, let's see if this will let me do a head movement within there. And I'll just show you what I'm talking about. New within there. Everything else is fine. So the player, yeah. For now, I'm just going to uncheck this real quick because I'm going to go back to the player in the scene icon. Other thing you can do is actually add a on the player an animation. I'll show you here animation, and we can do create, and we'll just call this in here. Save. Now, you also want to turn off the loop. So if you go back to project and you go into here, player and loop time, you can uncheck that. That way, the player is not looping continually, or if you wanted to loop, you can. So I go back to player, animation, and this is where, this is the time. This is 1 second, so this is like a half a second. So we could do like at 5 seconds. First you start with this, and you hit record. And you can double click on your player here. And what you do is just, you can move your camera slightly. See that when you zoom up it's hard to see. When you zoom out, you can see the little rotation. Again, this is not my design, it's Unity's. I wish these were darker, and there's probably a setting in here where you can change it. I've just been so used to just doing this on my own. So, and then at, you know, let's say at like 5 seconds, 6 seconds, you know, you can then do this right here. And then at 8-10 seconds, you can go back, kind of like this. Alright, and just to show you how that looks, let's go in here. So see, it slightly starts to turn. to see how this goes to the end. And the sun's just completely gone down here. Now within the VR, when you put on your VR headset, you'll be able to see much more, look around yourself. Okay, so it's just a quick, simple scene. Again, you're probably going to spend more time messing with it than right now. I'm just showing you what you can do. Right. The other thing I wanted to show right before we do this VR thing is the controllers. So I'm just going to plug in my controller, and I use a Xbox One controller, and it came with the Oculus Rift. So I got touch controllers and I have a regular controller. So okay, so after you plug your Xbox One controller in, you can go to Edit, Project Settings, and Input. Now by default, it should have many of the buttons mapped already, so you can see right here, positive button, joystick button 3, and there's a page on the website here where this website where I went to, but you can just do a search for Xbox One Unity 3D mapping, button mapping, and you can see right here joystick 3 is button Y, and so you can change each of the buttons and map it however way you want. And again, that's this link right here. And so by default, the axis is automatically set up, and you'll probably want to add some look around for the for looking around. Right now, I just have it set to just moving and jumping, so you can see what that looks like. So as you can see, it starts to rotate around with the animation set. So this is the walking around with a controller here, and you can jump as well. So Xbox One controller I recommend, and also the Oculus Rift Touch controller. And for those that have an Oculus Rift that want to set this up, you can go to then you just do a search for developer.oculus.com. There's some documentation right here how to get started with setting up your Oculus. You do not need this in order to use the Oculus. You can actually just put the Oculus on, but this has examples of how to use the touch controllers within Oculus, how to pick up objects, and I may do a separate video just for that. So you can see there's a bunch of different things here. So Oculus utilities for Unity, and you can just download that. This is where you can add some of these into your project. You can import the package here, and then start setting up your touch controller. Well, I'm just going to move into setting up the video recording. So we're going to uncheck your first-person controller, check your waypoint mover script, and we are going to go to the first person character, which is the camera, where we've added the VR capture. Go ahead and set that. Make sure all your settings are correct, and save your project, and then build. And make sure I had a test scene. Make sure you have that. You can add all open scenes and select that. And we're just going to go right into each select folder. And if this patch worked correctly for the VR capture, Unity should not crash. I have not tested this yet, so if it crashes again, I'll have to go back to the drawing board. But I have faith in what the guy sent me. The patch will resolve the issue. Alright, and now we just double click on this, and you can do window because so you can close out of it when it's done. Cool, so that fixed it. However, it's not creating any more images. Oh, there we go. Just have to refresh. So you can see, the process is running, and it's almost done. Now I only did 103 seconds of this, so I'm going to set it for 5 minutes, but I just want to show you the process. Okay, so that's done. Close out this. I'm not sure that we'll increase it some more. And that's right here. It's at 5 minutes. And then we can just encode the video. Encode best quality. And I'll show you a quick video here. This is only 3 seconds of video, so there you go. That's it. 3 seconds. So we're going to do a little bit longer, and I'll be back for the last couple steps, which is pulling the video into Power Director, adding music, adding sound effects, and any type of subliminals, let's say words or whatnot that you want to pop into the frame real quick. You can do that as well. Yeah, we're back. Let that run, and we'll finish up our training video, and you can start creating your own virtual reality relaxation videos. Alright, so now this is finished. We can go ahead and close out. You'll notice it'll just go to remaining time 0, 0, or 0, 1 seconds, whatever. You can just close out. And let's see what we've created. So, you can see that we've created a bunch of images. And you can even use some of these images in your own artwork. Now, let's compile the images to create a video. So you go back into your Unity 3D, you click on your player, camera, you go down here, and you want to do encode best quality video for your VR from 4K sequence. You could also use the encode H.246 video from existing. We just click on this one here. This process will take most likely maybe 20 minutes or so, or 30 minutes, depending on the speed of your computer. Again, the faster your computer is, the faster these processes go. This entire process of creating 5 minutes worth of video to roughly about maybe 30 to 40 minutes. So on slower computers, I've seen it take as long as a day. On my old computer, I would process a 1 hour video, and it would take about 3 days to run. I have not tested it on the new computer to see how 1 hour video would run, but I'll test it out. See, I would think it would probably be less than a day to run. So just let the process run. Once the video is completed, we move on to the final step of basically editing the video, putting the video in the Power Director, and then applying music and any subliminals or any other guided meditation that you'd like to include for your client. And then we move on to producing and then uploading to YouTube. So I will be back. I'll let this run and we'll finish up this training video. Appreciate your time and thank you for watching this video. It's very nice working with you on what we can do to create videos for our clients using their imagination. You can see that there's just so much more that can be done in this beach scene. If you wanted to add additional effects, you want to add some grass and some other eye candy, you can do so. Again, this video is just to show you how to get to the point of creating a virtual reality video. If you wanted to just put some grass and some flowers, but there's just so much that you can do. It's just endless. And if you go into the asset store, you can go back and find all kinds of different things that you can include. There's light effects, there's just 3D models if you want to find characters, environments, props, vegetation, vehicles. Some of the other things I like to add are there's a environment. You got waterfalls you can add. This is the big environment pack here. Comes with rocks, comes with vegetation, comes with different flowers, things that you can add into your video. So I'm going to let this process, and when I come back, we will finish up this training video. Thank you for your time. Alright, so The video is completed. I was just doing this last import of Big Environment Pack. Again, this is just some extra eye candy that you can add to your terrain, and it comes with a lot of little shrubberies and rocks and bushes and trees and that kind of fun stuff. So let's check out our video. We now have a new video. This is 5 minutes of going through the beach. And the more time you spend on your project, the more realistic you can get it to look. I think just for this short amount of time of spending a couple hours creating this scenery, it looks fantastic. With a little bit more time, I can see it adding more effects that will definitely please your client. Alright, so this just goes on here for 5 minutes through the nighttime. And again, we can make the adjust the time at which the sky. We can adjust the amount of time that passes. We can slow it down. We can increase the time. We can add other effects. So let's begin with our final step here. We do not need this, and we're going to bring our video. And I recommend taking this video out of the folder and making your own video. Making your own folder for your videos, because it'll replace all the images and the videos can be run again and again. So I'm going to drop this into Power Director, and if you're interested in using Power Director, okay. Power Director 16 right here. Real good video creating tool. It, as far as I know, it only works on Windows. For Mac, you can use like iVideo. You know, $69. You can't beat that, and you can do VR editing within Power Director. So you just drag your video, or you can do file import media. And you can import the video as well from here. So you drag your video down to your timeline, and it will look like this. You have to right click and go convert to 2D object. Okay, and then we take our music, drag it in. And we drag our music down here to one of the lines. You can shrink the timeline down just by dragging back and forth here so you can see more. And we're just going to fade off right here. Split. Delete. And hold down Control and click onto the audio line. And you can just drag it down towards the end. And let's see how this looks. You can detach the video screen here. And then convert this. Click on the 360 here. Enable 360 view. Right? And play. And again, you're going to spend more time on critiquing the video, the amount of time that you're walking down the beach. There's just so much more you can do to it. This is just to show you how you can get into this. So see how you can look around here. With the VR headset on, you'll be able to look around. Alright. Now what we want to do is add other sound effects into it. So a few things you can do is you can either go out to locations and actually record the sounds, or do a search, maybe download free ocean sound MP3. So you can listen to it. Okay, we'll just download. And I want you to log in. I mean, you don't have to create an account. If they do have some other places that you can find ocean waves. Now they do have some sounds within Unity folders that also we can pull from. So let's just go to our Unity project, and we go into our beach scene here, and let's see, we can do time audio. So there's a few things, beach waves. So we could just drag what's in the project here. So within your Unity scene, you can find different sound effects in here as well that we can actually insert. And again, it's up to you where you want to put your sounds at. See, something like this. Drag that into it. When. Drag that into it. Alright, so now we go back here. And you can create new tracks just by right-clicking and going Add Tracks. And we don't need video track. We can add like 4 audio tracks, let's say. And you can actually move this down to, let's say, the very bottom. And so like that. And we can do our night sound here. We could do our wind here, and we could do our beach waves here, like that. Now you could just duplicate each one of these. And you probably have to just place it like that, and like this. And really you can keep on copying them and copying them. If you want to, you can even it out. you just click on the last edge of the clip here and drag it left and right, and we can save this here like this. Once you get it lined up there, then you can copy it all. You can add your actual clips into the your actual audio track as well. You have audio you'd like to include, such as subliminals or guided meditation. I'll just show you how you can do that. You can use Power Director built-in capture. Also does an audio recording, or you can use Audacity and record the audio as well. And because I'm using the audio right now to record this video clip, it may not work as good. So let's just know that you can do that. So alright, so once you're there, and each one of these you can click and fade off. We can drag this up closer here. So let's say we just delete these. Take that here. And take that there. Alright, let's see how that sounds. Again, you can look around. Alright, so we've accomplished so much. If you want to add in text within your video, you can start out by going to the text here. You can drag text down. And just add different things that you would like to say within it, and you have to take off this 360 here to add it. And you can copy text throughout your video. You can change the font size. You can change the opaque if you wanted to have it. Let's say. Slightly hidden in the background like that, and you can call this like I am. You can also add text within Unity and place it in different areas within the interface. So you can do this anywhere you want as well. You can just move it over here. You can change the font size as well, the font color. You can set different colors, you can set different font size. And let's say you wanted to this one. There you go. Now when you start playing, There's other effects you can add to it. If you go to this effect here, you can add like a fade effect. And then if you wanted to copy that, you can repeat it. You can add other effects. You can even shorten it. You can shorten how long it plays or displays. Like that. Alright? So again, this is just a quick video to show you how to create a virtual reality video for your clients. We went from the process of setting up Unity 3D, adding plugins, creating our landscape using Gaia, creating the water using Oculus, adding in trees and the sky and flowers, and adding in the waves, adding in butterflies, adding in fireflies and birds. So everything that we can do in that amount of time, given more time, you can add even more special effects to it for your client. You can add additional metaphors, you can add additional subliminals, additional effects, and you can also create an interface for your client to actually rock using a controller like an Xbox One controller or an Oculus Rift touch controllers. And it's simple. Maybe it takes time, but given a little bit of time and patience, you can create something amazing for your clients. Now we finish up the video. I go into produce, and we're just going to save the main video here. We're going to go to our Unity project, and we'll just call this virtual and save. And the format here, we're going to just go with the 4096-2048 since that's the size of the images we used. And we're just going to hit start. Now also remember to save your project. You do Control S to save or File Save As. And we hit the start button here. Given the size of the video, being it's only about 5 minutes long, that says down here the time remaining is about 15 minutes. So I'm just going to let that run, and I will be back to finish up this training video. Alright, video is finished producing, so we can check that out in our project. Okay. This 2 gigabytes, not too bad. And you can look around. Alright, so that is the creation process. Went from installing Unity 3D to setting up a beach scene, adding some plants, some sunflowers, some azalea bushes, some trees, some mountains, some beach waves, some seashells, and a beautiful sunset, and the ability to drag and look around within the VR. So the next step would be to upload the video to YouTube. So if you have a YouTube account, you can just go to youtube.com. If you don't have a YouTube account, you can create one. You just go to the upload right here, create a video post, upload video. Alright, and we're going to drag our video, or you can just click here, and we'll go to our video. Right here. You can also upload this video on Vimeo and set it for rent or buy. YouTube also has some options that you can set for renting or buying. Vimeo, they give you terabytes of hard drive space to work with, so you can come into upload, and same thing, upload your video. Then you can set it to rent. This is what a video for rent would look like. You just click here, and so you can rent video, buy a video, and same concept. It'll work with the 360 videos, and that is all you really need, is the ability to take your imagination or your client's imagination and create something amazing in Unity 3D. It doesn't have to be perfect. Like I said, this is when you put your headset on right here, and I'll show you, I'll put the headset on here so you can see what it looks like. Alright, Unity, we're going to take off the right here, and we're going to take off the waypoint, and we're going to add in controller here. So, alright, we're going to import the Oculus package. This is just to get the Oculus Rift working with the Unity. Okay. Okay, so once to restart, I'm just going to restart the Oculus driver here. Alright, I'm going to just restart Unity. Alright, so get the headset ready here. And it comes with these little sensors here. You get 2 of them right here, and you just point it towards yourself. Like that. Okay. Now you see the Oculus here. VR prefabs. And you have the camera rig right here. So you can drag your camera rig onto your player. You can then take your first person camera out. And you get, because you have your camera rig here, tracking space, left eye, and let's see what this looks like here. Well, this is definitely too far to the ground, and it says I need to go to general settings here. So settings. Privacy settings. General. Allow unknown sources. Allow. So this will allow you to run your Rift in here. And we need to move the camera rig up some because it was too far down. Okay, let's see here how this looks now. Okay, so will probably be some adjustments. As you can see, some of the sky is linking and going in and out. I had this issue before, and it's just playing around with the settings, some of the camera settings. But I can still walk around and look. And I can jump. The ocean is gone, wherever the ocean went to. The sky is not set up correctly. So there's going to be a little bit of critiquing to get this to look exactly the way we want it to look. And again, it's just a matter of taking the time to work it through, so I'm going to just keep on messing with it. Alright, I figured out why the water in the sky was vanishing with the Oculus Rift camera rig. So what I did was, under center eye, I set the clipping plane to 5000. I set the allow HDR, and the same with the left eye, 5000, and the right eye, 5000. And you can see by the center eye how it has the fog and all the different scripts automatically added from the Tanaki sky. And so as long as you set these settings here, you should be good to go. Let's test it out. I'm going to put the headset on and go ahead and hit play. Oh yeah, much better. You can see the ocean, you can see the birds, the moon, the sun setting, and the mountains here. I'm up a little bit higher because I was testing this out here, so I should be able to walk as well. And the sun's almost gone. I can jump. Alright, that shows that just a few minutes of troubleshooting. I was able to get the get this working here, and I greatly recommend getting the Oculus Rift. If I could recommend a good system for you, it's a little bit expensive, but I do recommend an Alienware new 17-inch laptop with a 4K display. It does have a NVIDIA 1070 video card. They do have an option for 1080 with an i7 8th generation processor and 32 gigabytes of memory. The Alienware is a system I just recently got to test the virtual reality on. So you can see the processor, i7 processor, 32 gigabytes of memory, and Windows 10 64-bit. I believe it was roughly around 3K. You can find the Oculus Rift on Amazon, or maybe at Best Buy or some other electronic store. The Alienware is a Dell product, so you can go to Dell.com and check out their available laptops. Highly recommend it for using with your clients. Like I said, it just adds an extra degree of trance for your clients to enjoy. They can come in and sit down and put on the headset, watch videos that you created for them, and then you can use your guided meditation, your hypnosis, your inductions, progressive relaxation, whatever you choose to allow your clients to relax while they're just in this virtual reality world. And it's great for kids too. Kids love video games, and you can get them into walking down a beach and picking up seashells. I'm going to show you real quick. I'm going to work on getting the Oculus Touch controller set up where I can add a simple object where you can pick it up in virtual reality. So 1 second. Okay, so now I went back to the Oculus, developer.oculus.com, documentation Unity, latest concepts, book Unity GSG, and down here there is a download sample. A download sample framework. So the object here is to be able to create hands within the Oculus so you can pick up objects. So I'm just looking through here. Sample framework for Unity 5. So this is just a rendering system here. You can go up here, UI settings, scenes, hands, avatar with graph, that's some photos. So I just wanted to show you the hands. So this is the controller and just what you can do with it right here. Oops. So I can pick up objects and just kind of look at them and throw them. And it does help if you're back away. I'm so close to my desk here, but some balls here. Ooh. Alright, so this was just a demo of this scene here. This concludes our training for the VR beach scene. You'll just need to continue to research, continue to explore new videos that are out there that will teach you even more functionality, how-tos, and I recommend YouTube. You can find anything you're looking for on YouTube. So the video right here is almost done. I'll show you what it looks like on YouTube once it's completed. But so you can just do a few searches here, and look at this. You have videos show how to pick up objects, how to get Oculus Rift working, tutorials, Oculus Rift plugin, and Unity 3D setup. So I encourage you to learn. Get out there and watch as many videos as you can. Follow the tutorials. You can find all the information you're looking for on YouTube. Also a great site, udemy.com. Here you will find any course you're looking for. Unity 3D. Just some how-to videos on Unity 3D. Here's an introduction to VR with Unity. Alright, so that's what I recommend.
Alright, there you have it. The video is completed. That's how easy it is to create a virtual reality scene and upload to YouTube. You can also upload on Vimeo, and you can rent or sell your videos with your guided meditation and subliminals and any metaphors you create within the interface, and you are ready to go.
Well, this concludes our video presentation on how to create a virtual relaxation video in VR. My name is David Ezzell. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me at david@dezzell.com. I'd be happy to help. I look forward to working with you on future projects, and I encourage you to get out there and learn as much as you can possibly learn. Get out there on youtube.com, get out there on udemy.com, and find training courses on using Unity 3D. Again, I appreciate your time, and you have a wonderful day. Thank you.